Did you know the food you throw away costs you more than $1,300 a year? And that food waste takes up more landfill than anything else? Maybe your leftovers sit forgotten in the fridge, seem unappealing the next day, or you don't want a rerun. I'm here to help. I'm Diane Watson, the leftover chef, and I'll show you how to quickly transform your leftovers into new and delicious dishes. Let's get cooking. Hi, welcome to Leftover Chef. I'm your host, Diane Watson. Thank you for being here. Today's episode is called Stale Cookies. Now, I have to give my mom, Jean, a huge shout out. When I told her this episode was going to be called Stale Cookies, her reply was, "What's that?" But I think it's a great way to use up extra cookies that you have around, whether they're starting to get stale or you just have too many of them. This happens a lot around holidays or times when people get together and bake and bring cookies over for events. So this is a really fun way to turn leftover cookies into something else. And what we're going to make today is a really delicious ice cream topping. Here's what you'll need. Leftover cookies, stale or not. It's best if you use cookies that don't have frosting on them or in them. So these are basic sugar cookies. I actually have had these in the freezer since Christmas. About a quarter of a cup of nuts. Now this is optional. If you don't like nuts, don't feel like you have to use nuts in your recipe. These are chopped almonds. They came already chopped, but you can use any kind of nut you want. I think peanuts would be great, walnuts. I had some macadamia nuts in my pantry. I was thinking about using those. You need a tablespoon and a half of butter and a tablespoon and a half of brown sugar. This is so easy, you're going to love it. So the first thing we're going to do is get our skillet heated up to about medium. And while we're doing that, I'm gonna break these cookies up. Now you can break them up with your hand. You can break them up with a mallet. What I'm gonna do is put them right in the Ziploc bag I had them in when they were in the freezer. And there are 4 cookies here, so this will top about 3 to 4 bowls of ice cream. I'm just gonna break them up with a soup ladle. We will put our butter in our pan to get that going. Now what we're gonna do first is melt the butter and get it going with the brown sugar, so it's gonna get nice and caramely. I was looking into cookies, and cookies have actually been around since the 7th century AD. The first cookie can be traced to the country of Persia, because that was the first country that grew and used sugar widely. But the first commercial cookie can be traced to the animal cracker, which was first produced in the United States commercially in 1902. And I was thinking a lot about animal crackers because I went on a girls' weekend this weekend with a bunch of friends from grade school to Chambersburg, Pennsylvania, and I went to a fantastic candy shop called the Olympia Candy Kitchen, and that place opened in 1903. And the reason that really struck me today when I was looking up information about cookies is I bought a bag of chocolate-covered animal crackers at the Olympia Candy Kitchen that are fantastic. I've never had chocolate-covered animal crackers before, so I just thought, wow, that store opened 1 year after animal crackers were invented in the United States. Okay, our butter's starting to bubble a little bit, so we're gonna put the brown sugar in here. Again, it doesn't matter if you use light brown sugar or dark brown sugar, just kind of keep it stirring. And I don't know if you guys ever have problems when you put your brown sugar in a container or you keep it in a bag and it starts to get clumpy. A really nice hack that you can use to keep your brown sugar from clumping and getting hard is stick a piece of bread inside the container or inside the bag. Just a basic piece of white bread, and put 2 if you have a lot of sugar. It'll keep that brown sugar fresh a lot longer. Now we're gonna add our cookies, and they're a bunch of different sizes, which is just fine. If you have a couple that are just too big, you wanna keep them small bite size. And honestly, if they are stale, that's just fine. It's gonna be, these are pretty stale because I kept them a long time and I kept them in the freezer. Again, I wrapped them tightly in plastic before I put them in the freezer. But just stir to make sure that they're all coated with butter and that brown sugar. And then we're just gonna let them sit here for a minute and get a little warm and softer so I can break some of these pieces up. But when I was thinking about sending cookies to the landfill, again, that made me sad. But I was thinking about the fact that when sugar goes into a landfill, like any other substance in a landfill, it breaks down into methane gas. And methane gas is what ruins our ozone layer. And in fact, global landfills produce 67 metric tons of methane gas per year, which is 20% of the overall global total. So again, if you can save some of your food, repurpose it, and not have to send it to a landfill, not only are you gonna save some money and have some fun new food to eat, but you're gonna help do the planet a favor. So these are getting nice and brown, and the brown sugar is starting to smell golden and a little bit cooked. So it's pretty ready. I'm gonna just get my nuts in here. Again, these are chopped pecans. I might have said almonds before, but they're pecans. But these are looking really good. We're just gonna let them sit here for a minute, and I'm gonna get the ice cream. So again, I wanna just keep it moving. And you can see the butter was absorbed with the sugar, and the cookies are turning a little bit brown. So we don't have it's not soggy at all. It's just gonna be really toasty and warm. I like my ice creams. I like to make this like a sundae with a little bit of chocolate sauce. So I'm gonna pour just a little bit of chocolate sauce. You could put anything you want on here. Again, this is one of those dishes that is totally whatever you like. And this is gonna be really nice and toasty and warm on here because it's still warm. You can kind of probably hear it. And it's kind of like the idea when you put hot fudge on ice cream. It just makes that ice cream nice and melty and warm and delicious. And you've got the combination of that crispiness of the cookies and the crunchiness of the nuts and the comfort of the butter and the brown sugar, and then of course the chocolate and the ice cream. Let's try it. Oh man. Stale cookies, Mom. Trust me, you want to have some. Thank you so much for joining me on Leftover Chef. I'm Diane Watson. Thank you for being here, where we help you save money and take better care of the planet. See you next time.